Was there a liquidity grab before price came to this POI where I took my sell? This is one question I must answer a yes to. The moment my answer is a no, I'm not interested in taking this sell. In this video, I want to show you exactly how I'm able to spot liquidity in the Forex market before I take a buy or a sell. Before I take you to the chart and show you exactly what this means, let me show you a quick diagram. Alright guys, so these are examples and I'm going to show you exactly how to spot these three different liquidity models on the charts. Okay, so this is the first example right here. Number one, this is my 4-hour time frame. So there's a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame to the downside, and what can we see? We can see liquidity sitting up here. So people are going to be enticed. This becomes a trap for them. They will say, let's sell from this point. You won't sell from this point because you know that before that point there is actually no inducement or liquidity at this point. So what do? We wait for price to come all the way up here. That's where we take our sells, because we can see here that price has taken out liquidity from this point. So this is when there's liquidity on the leg all the way to the downside, the leg that breaks the structure. So this would be the first example. Take our sells from here all the way to this point like so. Now let's look at the second example right here. The second example here would be where there is no inducement, no leg inducement, no inducement on the leg that broke the structure to the downside. What can price do at this point? Because there is no inducement all the way here, price can come up and sweep the top of the POI right here. So what price can do is it can come up here and sweep. It won't close above it. It will just sweep either above, or if it's a buy, it will sweep below. At this point, this is where we cannot look for a sell idea. But what I also do for extra confirmation would be to wait for a 1-hour chalk to change character all the way down. Then I'll take this sell. This will be my extra confirmation after the liquidity sweep. I'll wait for this to happen on the 1-hour time frame, then I'll take my sell. Okay, but this liquidity has to be swept. Liquidity has to be taken out before you take any sells. So this will be our sell on the second example all the way down there like so. This will be if there is no leg inducement, at this point. The final part would be this example right here. Let's see, this example will be a break of structure all the way down there. Let's call that break of structure. The moment that break of structure happened, you want to pay attention to leg inducement. You can see right here there was no leg inducement, but now we are paying attention to the pullback inducement. So on the pullback, on the way up, is there an inducement? In this case, yes, it created an inducement. What can we see? You can see a break of structure to the upside on the 1-hour time frame. In this case, it broke structure to the upside, and then after breaking structure, it came all the way down and broke structure again. Now it's enticing people. They want to sell from this point, but not us, because we are waiting for this to happen. This is what we are waiting for. So the moment price does this and closes above it, we know that it has taken all the potential sellers from this point. Price has taken their money. So this is where we now get in. At this point, we look for entry on the 5-minute time frame. This will be my entry at that point like so, all the way to this break of structure like so. So these are the three major examples of liquidity identification I use. Let me take you to the chart and show you exactly how to spot this. So this is the first example. This will be example number one. This is the leg that went all the way down here to sweep liquidity. But we want to look at this. Can we find any form of liquidity sitting anywhere on this leg? Well, the answer is yes, because we can see liquidity right there. This is a clear break of structure to the downside in the internal structure. So this means people would see this and say, oh, there's a clear POI right there. Let's take a sell. We identify this as our liquidity. This will be our liquidity or inducement in this case. So we just identify that as liquidity. Let me show you on the 1-hour time frame. All right, so yeah, this is our 1-hour time frame. You can see here that this liquidity was swept. Another thing I didn't mention that would be an extra confirmation for you in terms of identifying liquidity would be if price sweeps above an Asian high, it's a clear indication that it has swept liquidity and it's about to sell. In this case, there is an Asian high sitting up there. So if price sweeps above this or closes above this, it's a beautiful indication that price is most likely going to sell. All right, so in this case, what did we do? Once this candle closed, I went to the 5-minute time frame to look for my entry. I won't bore you with the entries because I don't want this video to be too long. This is just about identifying liquidity. So that would have been where we take our entry at the close of that candle on the 5-minute time frame. We'll look for entry. I think this was a 40 or 45 pips entry. So that would have been an amazing entry for the first example. First example, there is liquidity on the leg that went all the way to tick structure down here. So this is the first identification. Let's look at the second identification of liquidity. So this would be where there is no liquidity on this leg. Now, inducement is basically an enticement created by price to make you either take a buy or a sell. So what we can see right here is on this leg, while I was looking for a sell, I can see right here that there was actually an inducement right here. The reason I didn't pay attention to it is because it is far away from our POI. So let me even make this better. So this was our 4-hour POI. Don't forget the overall bias was a sell. So the moment we saw this correctional move to the upside, we wanted to look for sells, but then we wanted to see that liquidity has been swept. Now what happened right here was that this leg has the liquidity, but it's not close enough to the POI I was paying attention to. So this would be that example where there is no valid inducement for us to pay attention to on the leg. What do we do in this case? We'll now look for liquidity on the pullback. Okay, we are now looking for liquidity on this pullback all the way up. This is what I'm going to show you on the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame right here, what can we see? We can see first and foremost identify our POI on the 1 hour time frame. If I adjust this, I'll see that this was a clear POI. I'll just change it to my 1 hour POI like so. All right, so that was the 1 hour POI I was paying attention to. But because this inducement it's too far away from our POI, so it means after this liquidity is taken out here, price might still look for liquidity again, and we don't want to be the liquidity. I have to pay attention to this pullback all the way up. This pullback and see if we can spot liquidity. So in this case, we are looking for something like this: a break to the upside, a break to the downside, and a break again to the upside. This is a clear sign of liquidity. A break up, a break down. Once this breakdown happens, people will be looking at this as a break of structure. They want to take a sell at this point up here. This for us will now be the liquidity we are waiting for to be swept before we take our own sell. Okay, so that's exactly what happened on this chart. At this point, we can see, don't forget, it has to be close enough to our POI. So at this point, we can see a break of structure to the upside. After that break of structure to the upside, we can see a break of structure to the downside. After that, we can now see a clear liquidity sweep to the upside. It has enticed people to sell from this point. There was a clear POI right there, a very valid POI. This was our valid point of interest. So the moment price swept this liquidity to the upside, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for entries on the 5-minute time frame. At this point, we can also see something else the price did. Price also swept the Asian high to the upside. Remember, I say the Asian high would be an extra confluence. So you can see price swept the Asian high to the upside, and then I would have taken that sell all the way from the top like so. This is not a clear representation of my entries because my entries are always on the 5-minute time frame. But like I said, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll record a video that shows you clearly how I take my entry confirmation. My final example will be on GBP USD. Let me take you there. So this would be my final example on GBP USD. What did I see on this trade? See this buy trade that is almost smashing take profit now, just a few pips to smash take profit. Now there was a 4-hour POI here. This 4-hour POI, because it doesn't have any imbalance, I didn't necessarily want to trade off it directly. This was a mitigated POI. Because of this, I wanted price to sweep below it to take liquidity, because liquidity will be sitting below this point. So that was what I waited for, and liquidity was swept. You can see I marked this as liquidity sweep. After this liquidity was swept, what was the next thing we wanted to do? To go over to the 1-hour time frame. On the 1-hour time frame, so what did we see here? We can see that there was a shift. All right, price went out above here, created a pullback right here. This was a pullback right there. After that pullback, price came all the way down and broke above that pullback. So this was a shift for me. What led to that shift? There was a POI that led to that shift right here. This was the POI that led to the shift right there. And this POI has imbalance. So once I saw that there was a POI that led to the shift above, the next thing we were looking for was to look for an inducement or a liquidity on the 1-hour time frame. So this was my liquidity. So I marked this point. Let me just write this down. So I marked this point as my inducement. If price takes this below, then I'll be looking for my buy trades. If I take you to the 5-minute time frame, because this will be my last example, let me show you this on my 5-minute time frame. On the 5-minute time frame, what did I now see that made me take this entry? So I waited for this liquidity to be swept. The moment that liquidity was swept, I waited to see my entry, which I've always explained, which is now my single candle order block at this point right here. So my single candle order block. So I placed my buy stop entry above this blue candle like so. This blue candle right there where my arrow is pointing at, that blue candle was now where I placed my entry above, and then protected my stop loss below the 4-hour zone. This is the 4-hour zone right here. Protected my stop loss below this, and this was a very beautiful 6% trade. Now look at this. This was a 17 pip entry, and price went all the way up. I think it might have hit my take profit. Not yet. Okay, just a few pips to hit my take profit right there. Once it hit my take profit, this would be a very good trade in the beginning of the year, so 6.1% trade. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do also smash the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as I will be uploading quality videos like this to show you exactly my trade processes. If you've not joined my Telegram group yet, there's a link in the description of this video. Click that link. I'll be sharing my trade ideas on that Telegram group. Stay safe, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.